Hello viewers, how are we? Welcome to 5:15 p.m. 17:15 here in downtown Nong Khai. I love this time of the day. I love this city. And it's such a nice time of the day. Just like the fine gentleman we can see here. I'm going to go for a walkabout too. I'm going to go for a walkabout this way yonder, guys. We're heading towards Walking Street, Nong Khai. But we've got a few blocks to cover, and we'll get into some of the reasons why I love this city. And I also want to get into some, let's say, some concepts, some modern vernacular, as a little bit of a philosophical walk and talk as well. Come along with me on the original CoffeeChillTV. And folks, it's always free to subscribe, and likes and shares are always appreciated at CoffeeChillTV. Please enjoy this video and tell a friend. So folks, as we admire the brackish light which hits Nong Khai, I love it, you know, at this time of the day, 5:15, getting on to 5:30, sundown. What about the topics on today's walk and talk, in addition to talking about why I love this place, Nong Khai? Well, there's sort of three concepts I want to talk about today. And they've come up into my Perdue, my social media feed over the last few weeks. The first concept I want to talk about is relative wealth. I also want to talk about geoarbitrage. And finally, I want to talk about lifespan versus health span. Health span, geoarbitrage, and relative wealth. Let's get into it. And as we do, guys, Nong Khai Hospital. As you look across at Nong Khai Hospital, I can tell you that it's probably low 20s. Just absolutely delightful. Just the weather is perfect. It really is. I love this time of year, and yeah, it's perfect for a walk and talk. Twilight in Nong Khai. So folks, topical, we're talking about relative wealth outside the 24-hour after hours telemachine. ATM. I'm a Gen Xer. Gen Xers and baby boomers, we know what ATM actually means. The acronym. So relative wealth. What does that mean? Well folks, relative wealth is all about measuring how well you're doing financially, not just purely off the gross numbers. And in terms of the gross numbers, guys, your salary could be higher or lower than someone, but you may both still have relative wealth. So how does that make sense? Someone's on $150,000 a year salary in Australia. Another person is on $95,000 a year in Australia. Surely the person on the higher salary has higher wealth. Well, in absolute terms, yes. If you look only at one variable, gross earnings. But if you start to think, okay, the person on the higher salary, maybe they got a bigger house, it's more expensive, the mortgage repayments are higher, they're in a higher marginal tax bracket, or if they're in the same high marginal tax bracket, more of their earnings gets chopped at the top marginal rate. They pay more tax, their mortgage repayments are higher. Maybe they own a more fancy car. Well, maintenance and repairs on that car more expensive than the person maybe on the lower salary with a car that's maybe a few years older. And so folks, just because you're on a big salary and you've got a big house doesn't mean in a day-to-day sense your quality of life financially, the net bottom line is better. It may not be, folks. Okay? It may not be. And that brings us into the next point. So folks, we were talking about relative wealth outside the ATM machine, the cash machine, and I think talking about geoarbitrage, well suited here out front of the Nong Khai police station, ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So geography, geo, arbitrage. What about arbitrage? Well, let me tell you about arbitrage. Maybe you already know about it, but a lot of you probably don't. So arbitrage, guys, what's it all about? I'm a retired financial planner. I used to love to talk to my clients way back in the day about tax arbitrage opportunities through certain investments. You can invest the same amount of money and pay less tax in certain investment vehicles. Therein lies the arbitrage opportunity. Get paid, take all of your after-tax pay home and put it in the bank. And if you're on a high income in Australia, you might lose roughly 50% at the top end. But after seeking qualified, independent, expert advice, you might put some of those earnings into superannuation, insurance bonds, etc. You put them into super the right way and it's taxed at 15% versus 32.5 or 48.5. Same amount of money, the net amount to invest is greater. Therein lies the arbitrage. Another example, we live in a part of the world where investing in gold is very popular. Well, it's pretty popular around the world, isn't it? But in particular here, people like to hold gold. See, and that's the experience of acquaintances and friends of mine who are Thai. And if I can buy 10 ounces of gold in Thailand for less than I can buy 10 ounces of gold in Australia, and potentially sell those 10 ounces of gold purchased in Thailand for a higher price in Australia. Commodity arbitrage. And folks, people do the same thing with currencies, and this is where we're getting into geoarbitrage territory. So we're standing out front of Nong Khai Hospital, and that's going to be topical in a moment when we start talking about lifespan versus health span. But just to finish up on arbitrage, currency. So when I first arrived in Thailand in 1993, and I spent a couple of months here backpacking all around the place, the Australian dollar was 35. I believe it was 35, it may have been higher, to the baht. So money I was earning in Australia, $1 was getting 35 in the local currency. As at the time of making this video, it's approximately 22 to the baht last time I looked. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But still, guys, there are arbitrage opportunities in terms of currency for me as someone who bides his time between Australia and Thailand. And to further expand on geoarbitrage, let me give you an example. Just a couple of days ago, I got a train from Udon Thani to Nong Khai. Went for approximately an hour, that train ride. It was beautiful too. On time, comfortable. 11 baht. It's about 50 cents Australian. I don't know, is it 35 American, 25 euro? I don't know exactly. I haven't got my abacus with me, but you get the gist, guys. Can't travel anywhere in Australia for an hour on a train for 50 cents. You know, excluding special sort of charity promo days that local governments run from time to time. 50 cents to catch a train intercity here. Geoarbitrage. So folks, relative wealth outside the ATM, the geoarbitrage outside ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, cop shop, local police station, lifespan versus health span, where we're out front of Nong Khai Hospital, and off goes the ambulance, off goes the tuk-tuk, off goes the motorbike. Lifespan, no doubt most people are familiar with lifespan. I think I first learnt about that compound noun in primary school. Health span, that's more modern to the native English vernacular. So folks, I was coming by here this morning on my way to 7-Eleven, and you know, there's a little hawker centre across the right way here as well. And I love getting food and drink from the street side vendors. It's something I always enjoy. I always enjoy doing here in Thailand. I love me a good tuk-tuk ride as well. Fresh fruit and veg, always good. And lotto. I buy the lotto, but I buy it for someone else. So I've got some friends, Thai friends, and I buy them a lottery ticket, 100 baht. We have an informal agreement. Don't know how we go about to enforce it, that if they win, you know, a little bit of something for me maybe, but it's just good karma, I reckon. So folks, lifespan versus health span. A simple enough example. In Australia at the moment, the average male life expectancy lifespan is approximately 85 years of age. That's the average for the average Aussie bloke. Well, thereabouts at the time of making this video. Your lifespan might be 85. Could be higher, could be lower, of course. Your health span could be significantly different. And there's always dogs around on these walkabouts. Good doggy. So folks, lifespan versus health span again. You might be following the average in Australia, the statistical average of 85, and you might make plans around that. But you may be zesty, virile, and ready to really enjoy active retirement for maybe 10 years or 15. That's your health span. Now, as a retired financial planner, I do remember clients of mine who'd wheel out the old cliche, hey, best to do adventure before dementia. Okay, so that's your health span. Okay, before things start breaking down on your rig, okay, get out there and do a bit of active retirement. I used to call them the go years for my clients. When they first started retirement, that's when they might go and hike Machu Picchu, or see the cherry blossoms in Japan, or Eiffel Tower in France, Canada-Alaska cruise, going down the Danube in Western Europe. Guys, Eastern Europe too. So guys, they're the go years. That's your health span. So folks, as we stare back at the Governor's mansion, admiring the lawns, the topiary and the architecture, we're going to come down the home straight of this walk and talk. I'm going to try to bring the three concepts together: relative wealth, geoarbitrage and health span. Let me attempt to do it. I don't have a whiteboard, but I'll do my best. So folks, I want to make the most of my retirement. Life is short, retirement is short. Even if my lifespan is 95, it's unlikely I'm going to be sprightly. And I'll have the tolerance to travel on an 8-hour local bus when I'm 85 years old. I want to make the most of my retirement. And as a result, I want my dollars to stretch. Here in Thailand, because of the lower cost of living, and folks, someone tries to tell you it's more expensive in Australia than Thailand, please do not believe them, because they're talking utter gibberish. I've been coming to Thailand since the early 90s. Probably been here 30 or 40 times. I've been predominantly living here for the last 6 years. I've just come back from 5 months in Australia. So I reckon I'm a pretty good judge of the cost of living in southeast Queensland, Australia, where I hail from, and northeast Thailand. The jury's in. There's daylight between the cost of living in Australia, well, at least where I come from in Australia, versus this part of Thailand. So, life is short, retirement is short. There's a geoarbitrage for someone like me, being in a place like this, beautiful Nong Khai. And finally, relative wealth. So guys, in a place like Nong Khai, you can get monthly rentals, from what I understand, for as low as 5,000 baht a month. Cost you 35,000 baht a month if you want to step up. Is the quality of life that much more significant? If it's, 10,000 baht a month to live in a really nice unit versus 20,000 baht a month to live in a big house, that's 120,000 baht a year cheaper to live in the apartment. Relative wealth, guys. The person in the apartment, in that example, is 120,000 baht a year better off than the person in the house. Maybe you need a house, you got family, etc. But for someone like me, I live in a 1-bedroom studio. I don't need to live in a 3-bedroom house. I own a couple of 3-bedroom houses in Australia. I rent them out to other people. I earn money in Australian dollars, greater than the baht still, even though it's moved south. There's the arbitrage, guys. There you go. So folks, we're going to wrap it up here. I hope you didn't mind me indulging a bit of socio-economic. I am a retired finance nerd. It's going to happen, guys. I'm also a retired English teacher, so I like to unpack vocabulary as well. I hope you found it interesting, useful. Does it relate to you? A question for the comments box might be, what about those terms, guys? Are they just buzzword bingo? Relative wealth, geo-arbitrage, healthspan. Do you give credence to these terminologies? What's your experience? What's your take? Keep it classy. Put something in the comments if you like. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope to see you again very soon on CoffeeChillTV. As always, cheers just for watching.